So I just got out of church and I went to the bookstore to look for some diet recipe books because I was going through some garbage phase where I thought I was fat or something. Then he eventually came up to me and he was just like, "You really don't need to be in this section." And I was like, "Cool, like, okay, sorry, I'll get the fuck away from the dieting books." And we get to talking and he tells me his name, which obviously I'm not going to mention because that would make me a huge fucking bitch. My friend taught me this really cool word the other day called swamp donkey. And so let's just refer to him as Swamp Donkey because I love that word now. Swamp Donkey starts telling me like what he does and what he's about, his name, etc. I find out he's just come from church as well. So I'm like, cool, we have that in common. He was with a group from his church of like mentally disabled people that he had brought to the bookstore because I guess he takes them to do a different activity every Sunday after church, and today he took them to the bookstore. So he introduces me to one of them and they're all super nice, and so I'm thinking like this guy is a great guy. Like he spends time with these like mentally disabled people, he takes them out on outings, and he was like really friendly with them. Like he wasn't acting like all high and mighty, like, "Oh, look at me, like I help disabled people, like fuck." Like, no. What was that? What? Like, no, like he was so nice. Like he was like friends with them. So I was like, okay, this guy's cool. Like I can get to know this guy, all right? Eventually at the end of the conversation, he did ask me for my number and I did give it to him because like I said, we seemed really nice. We both went to church. Like he texts me just asking me out on a date. And I'm like, yeah, like I'd love to go on a date with you, totally. Like when do you want to go? We scheduled a date and we decided we were gonna go get lunch together. So just super casual, like lunch, get to know each other, whatever. So I asked him where he wanted to meet. And I'm thinking like Panera Bread, Applebee's, TGI Fridays, like something where we can both get something we like. And he suggests this place that I've never heard of, but apparently like it was affordable and there was really great food. He didn't really tell me what kind of food it was until we got there. I'm driving around for like 30 fucking minutes trying to find this place because it's such a hole in the wall. Like it's freaking secluded in the sketchiest parking lot slash rapist alley that I've ever seen in my whole freaking life. I called him and I'm like, can we just like meet at Panera Bread or something? I can't find this place. I don't know where the fuck I am. I'm literally in Rapistville right now. He was like, no, like you're super close. Like from what you're describing, you're right there. So sure enough, I bring up my GPS and I literally was like 30 seconds down the road from this place. And I was like, dear Lord Jesus, please, please, like I do not want to get raped in this parking lot. This is so fucking sketchy. Whatever, like I found it was fine. All I want is for this to go well. Please don't assault me or something in the parking lot. Which he didn't, so cool. I don't even know like why I was thinking this. Like this guy was helping like the mentally disabled. Like why is he gonna be a rapist? I don't even know why I was thinking that. So I walk in and I give him a nice little hug and I'm like, hi, nice to see you again. And the place kind of smelled a little bit interesting, at least to me. Like apparently it was really popular and a lot of hipster emo kids liked it or something. Like I immediately knew that this was gonna be some weird fucking food. So I look at the menu and everything's like burger made from tree bark and rat piss and like leaves or something ridiculous. And then I'm reading it and I'm like, shit, this is all vegan food. Like I'm going to vomit. I'm sorry if there are any vegans watching. Like you do your thing, you support animal rights, like do your thing, but don't make me eat that fucking food because I will literally vomit everywhere. But I ordered something anyway. I wasn't gonna like make a scene and ask to leave. And he's standing there like, oh, the food here is so good, Katie. You're gonna love the food here. And I looked at him and I was like, I've never had vegan food before. It'll be interesting, definitely. I was being nice. I was like, like trying not to show how uncomfortable I was, you know? But I got like a vegan grilled cheese, or like the simplest thing that they had on the menu at the time. And honestly, it wasn't so bad. Like the bread, it seemed like there were like pellets of rat poop in it or something. Like it was disgusting. It wasn't good, but it wasn't awful. Like I could stomach it. The first thing, like, I shit you not, like the very first thing he asks me is friggin' to tell him my religious beliefs. So he asked me what my religious beliefs were, and I told him straight up, like, I believe in God, I go to church, but I don't like go crazy with it. I just believe what I believe, and to me it's like personal for everyone. Like everyone has their own personal spiritual journey. Like I don't need to impede upon yours, you don't need to impose upon my like, did I even say that word right? Whatever, like I'm not gonna impose upon your thoughts or ideas, and you're not gonna impose upon mine. He just starts telling me like how he like believes in hell and in sin, and if you don't abide by certain standards and you're sinning and you're going to hell and yada yada yada. So this is one of the funniest parts of the date, by the way, so tune your fucking ears into this part, guys. He asks me how I'm enjoying college and what I'm studying and so on, and I tell him, you know, I'm only in my second year of college, but so far I love it. I said, what college do you go to? And he was like, I already graduated. And I was like, oh really? Like what year? Like last year, the year before that? Like what year did you graduate? Yeah, like I graduated in 2001 from fucking college. And I'm like, and he's just sitting there like it's totally fucking normal. And I'm just like, so how old does that make you, if you don't mind me asking? Because I'm 18. And he's like, oh, I'll be turning 32 next week. And he's like, hope that's cool. Like, what the fuck are you supposed to say to that? Like, the date was gonna come to a close soon anyway, and I wasn't gonna be an asshole and like get up and leave. So I was like, whatever, I'll finish my food, finish the date, and then I'm done with this guy, right? Wrong, bitch. Wrong. Wrong, bitch. And I finished my food, and I'm looking around, and I'm like, there is nobody in here. Like, all of the wait staff, all of the kitchen staff, the fucking hostesses, they all left the building. And I'm looking around, like, with my food, because this place is kind of a cafe, but kind of a restaurant, and I didn't know if it was one of those things where we leave the food on the table and they clean it up after, or if we're supposed to, like, empty our trays somewhere. I'm like, Swamp Donkey, like, where do I put my food? Do I leave it on the table? Like, do I dispose of it somewhere? Like, what do I do? And he was like, oh, Katie, like, just go ahead and leave it on the table. It's okay if they clean it up. Like, that's their job. And so I'm like, okay. Like, I left my food there. He paid for the bill, left the tip. As we're walking out to leave the restaurant or cafe or whatever the hell it was, we pass the host station, which is where they keep the tip cup, which honestly is pretty retarded, but I guess that they're just running on good faith. I was like, wow, like they leave their tip jar like right on the host stand and there's nobody here. Like, wow, like they must really trust people. And he looks at me and he's like, good thing you and I are both God-fearing Christians. Otherwise, we might have taken the tip jar. I literally stood there and I was like, thank God this date is over. Like I'm trying to process that weird fucking comment that he just made to me. I'm walking to my car and he comes over to the car with me and he's just like, can I give you a hug goodbye? And I'm like, yeah, like, sure, like, totally. Thank you so much for lunch. I had a great time. He's just like, can you just be honest with me? Like, do you think I'm too old for you? Because I really, really want to go on a second date. I'm one of those people where, like, I cannot break someone's heart with their face. I just can't. So, like, I looked at him and I'm like, yeah, like, totally, it's fine. Like, don't worry about it. I didn't want him to feel like a fucking grandpa. Aside from being really weird, Swamp Donkey was really nice to me. So I was just kind of like, we can go on another date. You know, I was just thinking, okay, if he texts me again, I'll just ignore it. I shit you not. He texted me almost every day for the following month and a half. The very first text I got from him after this date, okay, was at 7 o'clock in the morning. And I literally woke up because my phone kept going bzz, 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 like every 5 seconds. And so I picked it up and I'm like, okay, like what? Like, what do you want? And it's the guy. And it's pictures of farm animals. And then the caption's like, these are all of my farm animals, smiley face. I eventually ended up telling him he was old as fuck and to leave me alone, which was really rude. Like, that was a bad way to handle it. If he had been a serial killer or something, he like would have come to my house and cut me in my sleep because I was literally so rude. And then he started bitching at me, called me some very non-Christian names. You're so cool, I get it, like, if that makes you feel better about yourself, like, right on. But yeah, that's my story of the weirdest fucking date I've ever been on in my life, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. I would love to hear all your weird dates. Please leave it in the comment section below.